and I had to make a live because I was gonna make a long like a video to put up, but I thought the live was more personal. I have a little bit of stuff to do, so I'm like, fuck it, let me go on live, right? So let's talk about my last what the hell did I just put up? My last short I just put up when I was talking about my little rant about people wanting to be single, right? So let me start by saying this. I don't want to mislead nobody or have anybody feeling like I promote you being a single independent woman, right? Honestly, if you subscribe to my channel, I'll be talking to the men too, because I got men that subscribe to my channel, right? So obviously I'm saying something right, right? I don't really get into all that social media BS that a lot of people be on. I live a real life, right? I don't do it for the people like that. I don't really give a fuck. But I say some real shit because I've been through things and I'm still a grown woman and I'm gonna still go through things. Everybody's still gonna go through things. I know y'all think y'all bigger than the program, but y'all not. You're gonna go through things, right? You're gonna live and you're gonna learn. But I had a young lady come to my post and she made a comment on that post. She don't like the ideology about having broken families, right? And I'm like, I don't ever remember saying that in none of my posts, like none of my videos. I never say that. I really be pushing for people to get to know themselves before you get into somebody else. I don't think that's negative. I think that people wanting to have an attachment to people is scary, right? Because you're willing to be attached to anybody, right? And what I try to let people know is that at the end of the day, you want to be happy, motherfucker. You only got one chance at this shit. Like, you get one chance at life. Like, even though my beliefs is something different, that's not for me to push on y'all. Do that make sense? Y'all grown, y'all adults, y'all already know what's up. But I also know how when you on social media and people value your feedback or your opinion or whatever, people pay attention to you, right? And I respect that. That's why I don't really play the game. I don't play that part because that's not what I decided to make a social media for or my YouTube channel. But I do want people to know that some people do come for you for help. And why you want to put yourself in a position where a motherfucker come to you for help because you so vulnerable that you allow them into your life because you just want to be loved and want companionship. That's all I be saying. And I don't think that's just for women. It's for men too. And I make it my business to always say men too, because sometimes, and I know I'm a woman, but sometimes we don't be looking at everybody's situation. I look at shit from just being a human being and understanding that people do want to be loved. The world is ran on love regardless. Despite what people want to tell y'all, it's ran on love, the love of something. It's the love of something. I've been saying it since I was a kid. But at the end of the day, I don't want to mislead nobody thinking I'm pushing you to be single. Nah, actually, I think being in a healthy relationships is dope. Whether that's dope ass friendships, having a dope ass spouse, or whatever. Even family relationships, when people be really locked in and handle each other accordingly. But I think that we all gonna go through phases in our life where some people phase in, some people phase out, and I think people don't want to believe in that, right? I think people think that this person is the all and the be all when only this person is just here for the moment. And you can't take everything so personal. And I know it's hard to say, but I don't be talking from a broken place. I be talking from a for real heal place and an understanding place. Like, yo, some people is for the moment. And I had to learn that in friendships. I had to learn that through work. I learned that through relationship, that's just what it is, right? And so when the young lady said whatever she said, I have to understand where she's coming from. But I'm like, when you move like that and you move so vulnerable, you leave the door open for anything, meaning that you don't know yourself enough, right? So I don't ever say get on here and be telling people like you don't have no self-love. I would never tell you that. I think that you don't trust yourself enough, that you don't make the best decisions, and that shit is okay because you ain't gonna always make the best decisions. Like, and I'm not saying it from that place. I'm like, nah, you're really not. You're not gonna make the best decision because you ain't learned everything you need to learn. So you're gonna misstep a lot. A lot of us misstep in relationships because there's certain things that we don't see. I grew up, my mom was a single mother, but I did not grow up without a man in my life. My grandfather has always been prevalent in my life. My grandparents, they was married for like 40, 50 years. And he was neither one of my grandparents, and I have to say it so people could, if you do subscribe to my channel, I'm saying it from a serious place. Like, my grandparents never argued in front of me. My grandparents never cussed. My grandmother was not a drinker, but she was a social drinker. So when my aunts or we had cookouts and stuff, my grandmother was a social drinker, not a heavy drinker, not an alcoholic. My grandfather was not an alcoholic, and he didn't do no drugs or smoke cigarettes. And I'm saying this for context. So when I got into a relationship, because I have to give the example that I'm saying it from paying attention to people, right? And a lot of shit I've been through made me have to pay attention to people and pay attention to how people do things. I was not taught that, because my household was pretty calm, cool, and relaxed. Like, we never had no, I'm gonna say I was raised well. I ain't gonna hold you. I was raised in the hood, but I was raised really well. I come from a middle-class family. Like, my grandparents was good, retired, and all that. So I say it from that place of seeing what I see and seeing how a man handle things. And this is not about men and women battling. I'm talking about relationship. So don't get it misconstrued or take out what you want to take out from. I'm talking about relationship. So when I got into a relationship, I knew that something wasn't right in my relationship. This was my first relationship. So this is why I made my YouTube channel about being healthy and thinking and making sure that you continue to work on yourself, because everybody is not for forever. And sometimes people are exactly for the moment they're in your life, and you have to understand that. Right? They come to bring you something and you take something from it. And if you decide not to take something from it, that's a you thing. Right? Hello. I'm 38. But when I was in my relationship with my kid's father, he was my first relationship. And this is not about him. This is just to kind of like give y'all a broad of who y'all subscribe to, so that y'all don't feel like, y'all know if y'all subscribe and why you doing it, right? And I think that makes sense, right? So I knew it wasn't right because I never seen my grandfather do it. We never lacked anything, literally, like never lacked anything. My grandfather held it down. My grandfather never talked about the stuff that all these other men talk about. He was not that kind of man. My grandfather was just not that type of man. I had looked at my relationship as I want somebody that emulates my grandfather in how he handles family. You know what I'm saying? My grandfather was surrounded by women. Straight women. Me, my sister, my mom, my grandmother. And I think I laugh all the time because I always say my grandpa survived it. Like, real shit. But everybody in my house was calm except my mom. My mom was the only child, right? So how my grandfather and grandmother, he was such a good guy. I always say to my mom, but you wanted to chase the wild men, the men selling drugs and doing all that. But my grandfather was not that kind of man. He just wasn't that. So when me being in my relationship, I knew that certain things that was going on in my relationship, I'm like, I never seen that with my grandfather. Living in my grandfather's house, I never witnessed that. So I knew certain things wasn't right. My grandfather never, even if he was something else in his day, because everybody not perfect, but when he was raising me and my sister, we ain't never experienced none of that stuff, if that makes sense. So I can only go for my experience, right? But the things my kid's father was doing, I'd never seen my grandfather do, so I knew it wasn't right. So when I'm talking to like my friends and I'm talking to other women and guys too, I know from a guy's perspective, my grandfather was very vocal about things in life. That's what kind of person he was. So I know men like to talk. I know men like to share their experiences. They like to tell their stories. I also know men hurt, right? I know men like they like to share their stories in the spaces they're comfortable, right? I also know that everybody don't come from the same background, and we can't push the things that we deal with or our ideologies on everybody. Do that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Like, we can't push that on everybody because everybody don't have the same experiences we do. So like I said, I don't want to mislead nobody thinking that I'm just about you being a saint. Nah, I think that community, family is beautiful, but I also know that you have to have some type of something going on with yourself personally. I'm not one of those women that, I think about a lot of shit a lot differently just because of how I grew up. I didn't come from like a broken home. I didn't come from none of that. I just didn't. So some shit I cannot relate to because my upbringing was much different from other people's. And I love love. I love love. I was in a relationship for 11 years and no, it was not perfect. That shit was traumatic, honestly. But I say it from my standpoint because that's not something I would have wanted to have went through. But I take so much stuff from that because I'm like, I got through it. Equally, I learned a lot from it. And the one thing I did learn is stuff that I never had experience before that, right? So I don't know. I just felt like I needed to share that because the lady was like, I had to comment, and usually I don't be wanting to really comment all the time, so it's not personal, y'all. It's just like, I don't want to get into like this argument back and forth because you have attachment issues. I don't believe in that shit. I believe like love is love. If somebody loves you, you know somebody loves you. You have to know the difference between somebody using you, somebody knowing that you're vulnerable, somebody leading you astray just because you want to be connected to somebody. That's all I'm saying. Like, and I think people don't want to realize that. And I don't think it happened to men more often than women. And that's the sad part about it. That's the sad part about it. Women, we say it from our standpoint because we deal with a lot of BS, right? But I've done seen men in relationship with women that treat them like shit. Just treat them like shit. And it's so crazy because other women be like, well, what he did, it ain't what nobody did. You treat people how you want a motherfucker to treat you. That's just what it is. So if you treating somebody bad, you using them, you taking them for granted and all that, that shit going, if it don't spin the block on with him in your life or her in your life, that shit going to spin with the next person. That's just what it is. Like, treat people according to how you want to be treated. And I don't know why that shit is so hard for people to grasp, that concept. I don't get that part. Like, and will people always treat you like that? Absolutely not. I always say I'll treat you how you want to be treated. And then after that, I'm gonna have to treat you how the fuck you want to be treated. And that's just what it is. It's not a lie, right? And so I just feel like sometimes wanting to be attached to people could be dangerous. It could be really dangerous. And all I just be wanting people is to work on yourself, work on communicating in relationships, talk about the things you want out your relationship with the person up front. Sometimes you vocalizing all of that stuff is important because if you don't vocalize it and they don't know it, they don't read minds for real. I know y'all want them to. I get it, but that's not fair to you to put that expectation on them when you could just really say what it is. And now if you say it up front and somebody don't listen to you, then you do with that as you will. But if you don't speak up and speak your mind and let people know what's up, how the fuck they supposed to know? That don't make sense. It just don't. It honestly don't. And again, you only have one chance at this shit. You don't got 10 and 30 chances. And I think everybody should fall in love. I think at some moment, everybody should be in the world a full-blown... Sorry. Mom on live, so don't get in here all wild. But I think everybody should experience that one time in their life. Like something healthy, right? But equally... you can't have that expectation for somebody else and you're not willing to be a participant in that too, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense, but I'm just saying. Yeah. I don't think I was fully... I just dropped this off. I don't think I was fully prepared for this, but I'm like, if I wouldn't have did the live, I probably wouldn't have did it at all. Hi. I wouldn't have did it at all. But I have wanted to talk about it because I thought it was interesting. But no, I do think that people should be in healthy relationships. But I don't think that you should be with, even when you have kids and shit, stop thinking that your kids don't pay attention to shit. Like, your kids really do be paying attention to everything that be going on. Your kids know when you happy, your kids know when you sad. Like, you'll be surprised, especially when you got little kids, you'll be surprised at shit they tell you. Put your seatbelt on, Mom. As soon as they, when they start to get older, they start telling you shit you ain't even know they noticed. And that should make you feel that. If anything should make you feel some type of way, shit like that should make you feel some type of way. like putting yourself first, because your kids will say that to you, like, why you ain't put yourself first. And maybe not in that context, obviously, right? But they definitely will let you know that you should have chose yourself first, you know. So that's all I wanted to say, because I felt like that lady didn't really understand what I was trying to say, and thinking that I'm pushing people being single. Like, nah, if you need to be single to handle some shit, you do need to be single to handle some shit. Everything is not everything is not for everybody all the time. And honestly, sometimes you won't even get your blessings with people because they're not for them. It's not for you to share with them. But that's another lie for another time. And people don't even realize that. Just wanting to be attached to somebody. I'm like, yo, that attachment I have will slow up some shit for you sometime. It do. And I know people hate to hear it. And it's crazy because networking and community get you far. You cannot get nowhere by yourself, right? But sometimes you have to start the process alone, right? Sometimes you have to start the process alone in order to get where you need to be, right? And in the midst of that, when you're doing the work, when you're working on your business, when you're working on whatever it is that you need to work on, the right people will fall in place. You don't need somebody to come into your life and slow up your progress. That don't mean you're going to be single forever. That don't mean you're going to be handling this shit by yourself forever. No, because from a business standpoint, you're going to come across people you got to hire and fire. You're going to come across situations where you have to make decisions that is totally based on business and not on feelings. So when it comes to relationships and shit, and people needing to get themselves situated and get shit in order before they be in relationships, you got to respect that too, because women have a high expectation that should stay high. It should stay high, right? And men should meet them there. But the thing is this, at the end of the day, with that high expectation that you have, wouldn't you want that person to have some shit together first too? Or you want them to struggle to get there with you, meaning, and then you putting stuff on them? Because she equally said in her comment, I'm not even trying to put her out there because that's a little mean, but she equally said they supposed to come take some of the burden off you. And I'm like, they supposed to lighten your load. Take the burden off you is a little much. Lighten your load is a little different. And when you don't have a vision to where you're going, what you want, what you're looking for, you end up accepting anything. That's all I'm saying. Like, sometimes you gotta have some type of something so that you have some type of direction. You just need direction. Like, even if you don't have a map, it's just like back in the day when we had to print out the papers on MapQuest and shit and follow that. We just need to know where we going. What's the landmarks to where we going? You know what I'm saying? Especially when we didn't have these phones and stuff. You know? So that's all I'm saying. So again, I love my subscribers, my little 138 subscribers. I love y'all real bad. But I just want to make sure that cleared the air. Like, I want everybody to be in a healthy, loving relationship. And be happy. Just be fucking happy. Like, with all this shit going on in the world and everybody saying, oh, like, yo, just be happy. Like, it's that simple. Like, do the shit that make you happy. That's the shit that matter. All that other shit don't matter. Do the shit that make you happy. You have to go through this life. Nobody's having the same experience as you. So you have to do things that make you happy. It's that simple. There's nothing more to that. That's just what it is. Make your life a little easier. Make your life a little lighter, so you're not struggling. You're not miserable and upset like a whole bunch of other people. If you don't have to live like that, why would you want to? That shit is just weird as fuck. Like, lighten your own load. Make your life a little bit easier, so when somebody else come into your life, they add in some positive shit to your life. They adding something to you. They not taking from you equally. They not adding burdens to you. They adding something positive to you. You know what I'm saying? Because we all need that. We all need that type of person in our life, right? And that person is yourself sometimes. That's all.